So hi everyone. Today we're having a staff discussion on the role that SALC is playing and can play or continue playing to try and dismantle the colonial legacy.
I think a lot of our laws and our norms, so to speak, have come from, the culture of the colonialists. So a lot of things that we call our African culture, like issues like modesty or whatever that word means, it's not actually African culture. It's for most of Southern African countries, British culture.
So that kind of intolerance that's been brought by the European laws, it's ingrained in our culture such that it's the norm. It's seen as culture. It's seen as normal.
What really has struck me were the issues of paternalism and control. Really, something that Tae and I have worked on. Is related to rape laws in a lot of countries. And so something that's really stood out to me is control, particularly over women's bodies and women's autonomy.
So as Anneke mentioned, most of the tenure regime we have across Southern Africa in the SADC region, they have their origin from the colonial era. At that time, depending on the colonizer, you either had what they would call crown land, if you're talking about those that were governed by the British, and then the reserves, native reserves for the rural community. They were removed from the land they were originally occupying in many cases and shunted in these areas which were called reserves.
I think a couple of years back in varsity, we were talking about decolonization and all of that stuff around fees must fall. None of that came across because some of these laws fly under the radar, right? You look at some of the bylaws that Johannesburg has, it in a sense criminalizes being homeless and being a beggar.
I was just thinking there that like 10 years to come or 20 years to come, if we still have these regulations, or 40 years to come, the generation then, what are they going to call them? Are we going to call them colonial laws?
Well, so we're seeing how they're still using these sort of this power play and using their powers and treating them into the laws in order to control citizens. So it's true. We do need to look at it from a political perspective. Thanks.
I don't know if I'm trying to say what I'm trying to say is coming across correctly, but what Chikondi was saying about how it's passed on the baton of power from colonial powers to these new governments.
That for me, when I was in Malawi, the time of Kamuzu, we never knew that the power that he held, we never knew where it came from, especially after being colonized by the British. We thought that was normal. Our parents thought that was normal. So now I think as things are coming up, you have organizations like SALC challenging these laws, then we open our eyes and say, so Richard, this is where it came from. So for me, it's like a big wake-up call, especially at that time of, Malawi, it was bad. The power that they held was like very bad. It was, for us, it was normal.
The example of Namibia and genocide by Germany at the beginning of the 20th century, and how actually Germany is behaving or tackling the accountability issue there, because I think only recently Germany officially apologized for genocide of the over Herero and Nama people in Namibia.
We do know for sure that there are some progressive laws in these countries we work in. For example, in the Southern Africa, a number of countries have enacted progressive constitutions. And we've also seen that the judiciaries, they have been issuing progressive judgment. And so we know we have this platform. There is some good constitutions. In some countries, they are still lagging in some sections, but not everything. And then we have judges that are the judiciary that's interpreting those constitutions well and giving progressive judgment. So
it makes me realize how much you guys, your work is important, right? How I would actually need a lawyer because I wouldn't know what law came from where, because it's just not my background. But it's been an interesting discussion for me. It's educating and informative for me. Thank you so much. And actually how Tae put it together how it's a whole system interconnected. I cannot tell what's coming from where, but yeah, I'm really glad I got the chance to learn a few things about law. Thank you.